With the new year right around the corner, the 2023 NHL season is coming to an end, and looking back, it's made pretty much zero sense. Teams that were supposed to have won didn't, and the teams that are supposed to be brutal are actually torching the league. Everything that's happened has led us to this last week of the 2023 NHL season, so let's cover week 12 and take a stroll down memory lane. The biggest storyline in the last week of the 2023 season is Conor Bedard putting on a show once again. Last week, the 18-year-old kid pulled off a Michigan, and this week, his performance literally has fans in tears. If you look at the 2 goals he scored in this game against the Jets, it tells you exactly why he's been able to have so much success this quickly into his career. First is his off-puck awareness. A great pinch here by Murphy keeps the Jets hemmed into the zone, and it results in a change of possession. As soon as this happens, watch Bedard plant his stick on the ice and shift towards the middle and instantly make himself a shooting threat. The initial shot is solid, but it's the habit of a follow-up that is the difference. Some shooters may wire this puck and stay planted, but Bedard attacks straight to the net and the skill level takes over. Between the legs rebound and persistence leads to a goal. The second reason is that otherworldly release. This OT winner is just majestic to watch, because as a goalie or a defender, when you see someone pull the puck into their body like this, everything here reads that this puck is going blocker side. And based on that trajectory, the defender actually has his stick in the right spot to stop it. But instead of Bedard fully rolling his wrists and turning his blade on the release, he keeps the face of the blade open as he launches the puck. That is extremely hard to do when you have the puck this tight to your body, but because of the level of separation he gets with his top hand, it gives him extra leverage to fire this puck with velocity. At full speed, it's pure sorcery, and Hellebuck knows it. Bedard is currently on pace for 36 goals and 77 points as an 18-year-old rookie, and that makes zero sense when you consider that he's basically doing it on an AHL team. If that doesn't make any sense, wait until you hear about a 36-year-old Kris Letang putting up 6 assists in 1 game versus the Islanders. That's NHL history right there, as he became the first D-man to ever record 5 points in 1 period. Take in, this guy had a stroke last season and is still top 15 in the league for time on ice. The guy is a complete animal, but 2023 was a weird one for the Penguins and their fans. For the first time in 16 years, they missed the playoffs despite Crosby, Malkin, and Letang all still being elite, while they also picked up one of the best offensive defensemen in the NHL in Erik Karlsson. Despite that, they still aren't a good team. And we're about to find out the direction of the Penguins franchise in 2024, but at least right now, Sid the middle-aged man still remains one of the best players in the world. Now, the team that scares me the most in the East is the Florida Panthers. If you want to talk about 2023 making no sense at all, just look at the journey for the Florida Panthers. At the start of the calendar year, this team was struggling big time. Matthew Tkachuk's dad calls out the team on a radio station. Paul Maurice loses it during a TV timeout against Toronto. And after that, the Panthers never looked back. They went on a massive run to get into the playoffs and then pulled off one of the biggest upsets in NHL history against the Bruins on their way to the Cup final. Of course, the Panthers fell short to the Golden Knights, but fast forward all the way to this week, and this team looks rock solid heading into the new year. Sam Reinhart has been absolutely lights out to start the season. He's already got 23 goals in a contract year. Florida's gonna have to show him the money at the end of this season, but right now they look like the strong, physical team that clawed their way into the finals last season. Personally, I feel bad for whoever has to match up with them in the first round, which, if you look at the standings right now, is, of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs. You can't lose in the first round if you don't make the playoffs, and after losing 3 in a row heading into the new year, all of Leaf Nation has officially canceled the Cup parade. You knew 2023 made no sense when the Leafs won a playoff round, but of course they crashed and burned with all the same question marks surrounding their stars like usual. Going into 2024, Austin Matthews is simply the best goal scorer in the world, but once again, defense and goaltending are absolutely sinking this team. We did a breakdown earlier in the week on how Matthews has become the NHL's greatest goal scorer, so make sure to check out that video after this one. But more importantly, if you run into a Leaf fan on the street this week, give them your temporary condolences for the parade being canceled. They're going to need all the emotional support that they can get heading into the new year. The West, on the other hand, looks much more intimidating to me, as all 6 of these teams look like they could be a potential nightmare to play in a 7-game series. Heading into the new year, the Avs are still great despite some off-ice drama. McKinnon's point streak just ended at 19 games, but the way he's driving that offense along with Rantanen and Makar is a very scary combination, especially when you consider that they have a chip on their shoulder after being bounced in the first round last season to the Seattle Kraken. The Jets fall under the category of teams whose comeback makes little sense, as they looked like a team last season heading downhill after they got swept by the Golden Knights. And on top of that, Coach Rick Bowness was completely disgusted with their lack of pushback, and it looked like all their stars were on their way out. But a big extension for both Scheifele and Hellebuck has reinvigorated this entire team, and they head into the 2024 season as a pleasant surprise. Of course, there's been no bigger surprise in the NHL than the Vancouver Canucks. This team was an absolute mess at the beginning of 2023. Teammates were publicly yelling at each other, you had terrible body language, and it ended with Bruce Boudreau being replaced by Rick Tocchet in late January. Now heading into the new year, they are competing for the President's Trophy. A complete 180 for them as a franchise, and they almost went off on a winning note but ran into the juggernaut that is the Philadelphia Flyers. Yes, you heard that right. And does it make sense that a rebuilding team is one of the best teams in the Metro? No, but they are, and they head into the 2024 season in a playoff spot, and that's something that a lot of fans just flat out didn't expect. Speaking of things that fans didn't expect, how about the Oilers being brutal to start this season? Everyone had them picked to win the cup, but they currently sit out of a playoff spot heading into the new year. They still got one more game against the Ducks. However, they have battled back to get at least into the conversation of a wildcard spot. They won a hard-fought game against the Kings this week in a shootout, and the McDreisaitl combination looked fantastic, which is a great sign for Oilers fans. It was an ugly start, but look at the bench's reaction after this win. If they find a way into the playoffs, that adversity at the beginning of the season can go a long way. Now, before the year ends, there are a few games left to be played. However, things will most likely stay the same heading into the new year. The top of the NHL has a couple of powerhouses battling for the President's Trophy, but the Rangers will remain on top heading into 2024. Going down the list, some teams that surprised me with where they currently are in the standings are the Devils. I thought they'd be a lot better than they have been this season, along with, of course, the Seattle Kraken. They were a solid team last year, and they knocked out the defending Cup champs in the first round. But so far this season, both them and the Devils have really struggled to live up to expectations. Two teams I'm pleasantly surprised to see are the Capitals and the Coyotes. I thought both of these teams were for sure going to miss, and they may still miss, but going into 2024, they both find themselves in a playoff spot, and they'll likely find themselves in the conversation all the way up until April. The basement still has the teams that only draft players who do the Michigan, and of course, my future Cup champs in the San Jose Sharks, sitting completely dead last. Kucherov leads the NHL in points, but the dog Nathan McKinnon is right there behind him. Matthews leads the NHL in goals, and the rookie Conor Bedard is quickly becoming the easy slam dunk candidate for the Calder Trophy. So, what did you think about 2023 for NHL hockey? Who do you think will dominate the league in 2024? Drop your opinion down below, and before we end the video, I want to thank all of you who have supported the channel over the last year. In the dying hours of 2022, we hit 20,000 subscribers, and in the last few days of 2023, we hit 100K on the channel, and it's just been so fun to be a part of. I love covering and breaking down the game, but the interaction and feedback I get from all of you every single week makes it even better. I can't wait for 2024 and what the season brings, so if you want to be a part of the community and join in on the weekly reviews, make sure you subscribe to the channel and feel free to check out some of our videos from this past week.